Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for, this is for the second half, the next 6 months of the year, June till the end of the year. And we're just going to see what is going on for you for the rest of the year. I'm not really surprised that it's, already kind of good in general. You have that great and full card there. So obviously there's like a lot to be grateful for. But let's see what we have for you here, Cancer. Did I say Pisces at the beginning of the reading? I'm not sure, but this is for you, Cancer. I'm actually going to pull an extra row, and I don't read reversals. If you're wondering why I'm flipping these over, the whole entire deck is upside down as usual, Cancer. So let's see. You have this unfinished Symphony card here. This could say that something needs to be finished, obviously. Something needs to come to a close, or something needs to be closed out. You have the Ten of Swords, Nine of Swords here, so I do feel that something needs to come to an end. I feel like for a small percentage of you, not all of you, I feel like you need to realize that, like, you don't need something in your life is what's popping into my head. It definitely could be like a relationship that you're in that isn't working out, or, a relationship that you have been in the past. I feel like you need to kind of like separate the two things. That's literally what the message I have popping into my head. It's like, I feel like you need to, it's almost like you're, you don't need to do anything, by the way, Cancer. Again, I don't think tarot should tell you what to do, but again, I feel like the cards are saying you're separating your identity from something. For some of you, it could be a person. It's like whenever we separate our identity from a person, especially if we had like an entanglement with a person or whatever, that can be very challenging. For others, I feel like you're learning to separate your identity from like what you do in your life. You end with the Lovers. Here's the thing with the Lovers, is that the Lovers has a lot to do with your values. And I've been getting the word values a lot this year. And I feel like it's because maybe the universe is asking a lot of us to live our values so we can be fulfilled with that great and full card. So you have the Three of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords. I do feel some of you have been dealing with like a juggling type situation with the Two of Pentacles. So a lot of you could be kind of like walking away from a person who was maybe juggling you and another person, or who is just a juggler in general, right, Cancer? For others, I feel this is saying that you're going to be very busy at this time. Again, you're not the only person who has had the Three of Swords. And again, I would watch your health with the Three of Swords for the rest of the year. I keep telling people, number one, Mars retrograde, right, at the end of the year. I don't care that it's at the end of the year. To me, Mars retrograde dominates the year, whatever year it is falling in. And I would just say, as we get closer to the retrograde in October, the Mars retrograde, I would be very careful of your health. I mean, the whole point of Mars retrograde, we can be low energy, we can get injured and all those things. I don't like to put that out there, but I would just pay attention. I would keep your head on straight. The other thing I would say, Neptune and Pisces. To me, Neptune and Pisces, garbage in, garbage out. And I just said it to Pisces. So I would say, if you're not feeling good, I would, I'm not a doctor, so do not take this as medical advice, but I'd be looking at the things you're putting into your body. There might be something your body doesn't agree with. Next, you have the Four Swords. Again, recovery. Some of you are clearly possibly healing from a situation, and I feel like that would be a very good idea. Like if you feel the need to heal, I would take the time to heal. is what this card is saying. Next, you have this great and full card. I feel like you have a lot to be grateful for, and I also look at this card kind of as like the Ace of Cups. So I feel your emotions are going to be overflowing. I see like a lot of abundance coming in for you in general. It's kind of an interesting reading. It's like it's like good, bad. You have the Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, Seven of Swords. So I do feel some of you could be dealing with a situation that you're holding on to. And again, it might be a good time to kind of put your energy more into what you do have, is what I feel like this card is saying. You have the Moon, the Nine of Swords, and the Ten of Pentacles. Really, this is a very good card. I feel like this is what you could have, the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is like everything you want and desire in your life. It is also like a permanent, change in your life as well. It kind of represents building or leaving a legacy, and maybe this is why you're heartbroken with that Three of Swords. Maybe you lost a person who you thought you were going to build or leave a legacy with, and it ended up being a nightmare. Nine of Swords and the Moon, you have them right next to or on top of each other, and both those cards are, when they come up together, they can definitely represent some sort of nightmare, or living a nightmare, or experiencing a nightmare. Really, the answer, I know it's not a good answer, but the answer is to keep going. There's a straight path down the middle of the moon, And the moon is like saying, keep pushing. The other thing that I'm getting here as well, Cancer, is like the fear of not doing something. You know, it's like, I don't really have a good example other than, it's like sometimes I think we want to have an experience. It's like, and if you have that feeling, like that pit in your stomach, like if I don't travel and see the Great Pyramids, or if I don't go do this thing, I'll really feel like I'm missing out. And I say it's weird because I got a very similar energy to Pisces. Like I said, if you have Pisces in your chart, I would definitely watch that reading. But I have something very similar popping in where it's like there's something that is popping up into your head. I think as well at this time, it's the 19th, the day that I'm doing this video. I had to look up what day it is, but you know, it's like between the middle of May and maybe like the end of June, I feel, is when these thoughts are popping into my head. Like, if I don't do this, I'm really going to miss out. And it's going to be anything. Could be anything for any of you. And so I feel you're like really feeling that. And I really feel like you have this Imam Quayle card, which says root on it. The Imam Quayle is the bottom of your chart in astrology. It's an invisible point, right? And it's the opposite of the MC. And what I would say here is I feel like something, but I really feel this is saying something needs to be grounded in your life. It's almost like you need to give something more roots, more stability. And we see this with the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is, again, there's a family on this card. And the 10 Pentacles form the tree of life. This reading, to me, is very simple. To me, it is saying something needs to be rooted. Something really needs to be sucked down to earth. And we're going to clarify in a second, hopefully figure out what. You have this Ten of Swords here in this row. The Ten of Swords says something from the past is dead, done, over with, and it's time to have a new beginning. So I definitely feel that for you here with the Ten of Swords. The Five of Wands is a card of conflict and competition. I'm just getting the word conflicted, so I feel you could be conflicted on like what direction to go in your life, what to do with your life, like all that other stuff. We also see conflicted energy right here, Two of Swords. The thing with the Two of Swords is that she needs to turn around and see that new island behind her. And that new island behind her could have everything that she wants on it, but she's staying where she has always been. She's trying to protect her heart. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, I think sometimes we stay in bad relationships because we know what we're going to get with the person. It's not a surprise, right? So even though it might not be great, we kind of stay because we know what we're going to get. I feel like this is saying, don't do that. Same thing with a job. It's like you might be staying in a job and maybe you don't really like it, but you know, we typically stay in jobs or businesses because we're like, number one, afraid to lose money, right? Because we need a source of income. Number two, we stay in these things because, again, we know what we're going to get. So I feel some of you, there's something really great for you where you don't know what you're going to get. In this, I'm going to pull another card for this last row here. You have this exposed and revealed card. Yeah, very raw feeling on this card, this exposed and revealed card. I do feel that if you have gone through a breakup recently or a heartbreak, someone could have been a liar, cheater, stealer. Obviously, Two of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, you know. It's like, to me, this is a deep hurt. So some of you could be feeling very raw at this time. And I do feel it would be a good time for you to take some healing time as well. I also feel it would be good for you to kind of explore your values, which we see with the Lovers. You have the Lovers, the Five of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords. The Lovers is a great card for love, obviously, but it's also a card of being at a crossroads. We see this with the Two of Swords in your reading as well, where you could be having a choice to make whether or not to, you know, stay in a situation or move on to something new. It doesn't even have to just be love; could be in business or work as well. But I feel like you really, if you're going to do something, all this energy of really needing to root something is saying that I feel you need to be like 100% committed to something new. It's like, I think there's no dipping your toes in the water here with this energy. The Five of Pentacles represents feeling left out in the cold. Five of Pentacles really says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. This guy right here, he has a bell around his neck, and the bell around his neck, he represents a leper. He represents someone who is like calling attention to his weaknesses. I feel like I say this to you all the time. Do not call attention to your weaknesses. And with the Seven of Swords, again, I definitely feel some of you could be dealing with a liar, cheater, stealer. For the most part, I feel like some of you kind of need to look for new ways of doing things as well. He's stealing those swords from that army in the background. And I always say with this card, he really represents doing things differently. He represents doing something like going to war, but in a different way. So pretty simple, this first part of the reading. So let's get more detail and actually see what this is about. But again, I feel like you have some unfinished business with a person. But I feel like the business is leaving and going towards something new for some of you, and believing in yourself, really, more than anything. Sorry, I have cards like flopping out all over the place here. But I feel like believing in yourself is going to be very important, Cancer, with this energy. It's like I feel like you need to be told you can do it. With the Three of Swords, you have the Six of Swords, moving on to calmer shores. Moving away from something that no longer serves you. So I definitely feel you're moving away from like a person or something that no longer serves you at this time. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, Seven of Pentacles is my card of, is the juice worth the squeeze? And, I can't answer that question for you. He's looking at those Seven Pentacles and he's like saying, is it worth it, everything that I put into growing these pentacles? And the answer might be yes, the answer might be no. But here's the thing. It's also a card of cutting your losses. Like, he's kind of looking at that and he's like saying, look at all this work I did. I grew all these Seven Pentacles, but it's like, okay, that's great. But, what if there's something else you could work on that provides 10 Pentacles, something better? This is not grass is greener on the other side situation. I feel this is about kind of like more understanding your worth. Wouldn't really surprise me to see the Empress come up in this reading. With the Four of Swords, you have the Six of Cups. I like this. Number one, 2 6s. I love 2 6s because, to me, it represents being on the right path, going in the right direction. This kind of looks like you're crawling out of darkness, really. So I feel like you've been in a dark period of time, maybe for the first half of the year. And the second half, it's like you're kind of crawling out of this dark period of time. With the Moon, yep, you have the Ten of Wands, burdens. Like I said, I kind of feel this energy of, crawling out of a very dark period of time. The thing I love about the Ten of Wands is he's carrying a harvest, and he's about to reach this home in the background. So that is his home, and he's about to have a harvest. He is about to put his burdens down. So like I said, I definitely would look at this, even though the first part is kind of like challenging, I would look at this as more of an improvement reading, Six of Swords. The thing about the Six of Swords as well is that it's truly a card of going through a rite of passage. It's like when we go through a rite of passage, we gain something. We're not, it's not like we're going through pain for nothing. So I feel like I feel it's like 8 months. So probably like at the end of last year into this year, you've been going through some pains, multiple, probably not just one thing. And I feel like you're about to get some rewards for it, or you have learned something valuable. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Eight of Swords. To me, Nine of Swords and the Eight of Swords is like sickness. I'm not a doctor, so do not take this as medical advice. I'm not saying you're sick. Some of you might be, but to me, it's like that feeling, if you've ever been so sick where you're just like, I'm never going to feel better. It's like, I don't know if you've ever had like a really bad flu or anything like that, but it's like you get to this point where you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be like this forever, right? And I kind of get that feeling here, but I feel like you need to realize that you can set yourself free very easily. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. So a little bit of stinking thinking here, Cancer. Again, not calling you out, but I just feel some of you are like, I'm never going to be able to improve my situation. And so maybe putting things in perspective would be a good idea. I like to, I was at a very bad place in my life many years ago. And it's like one thing I did to pull myself out was I started looking for people who are worse off than me who pulled themselves out. There are plenty of stories out there of people who are in very bad situations that have, been able to raise themselves up, right? And so I started looking for those stories just to prove it to myself that it was possible. And sometimes I think we just need that. We just need like a little bit of motivation. We just need to see that someone who has been much worse off has been able to kind of pull themselves out of something. So maybe looking for some examples would be a good idea. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the King of Cups. I definitely feel there could be love coming in for you at the end of this year. Could be a water sign. You have pretty much everything here, so it could be any sign that's coming in for you, but I feel like it's someone who's very emotionally stable. I feel like it's someone you feel grateful for as well. And again, I really feel you need to value yourself. It's like, I like to remind people, it's like we can think that we want someone great, but if we don't love ourselves, if we don't value ourselves, right, then we're not going to find another person who values themselves. We're going to find another empty person. And I'm not calling you empty, but I'm just saying we have to be full so that we can find a full person, right? So I feel for some of you that this is there's a person who's coming in for you, who values themselves greatly. And I feel like you need to value yourself greatly as well so that you can match up with this person if you want love. For others, and by the way, I feel like this could be someone you already know. It's like, I don't think it's someone you dated. I just feel, I get more of that like childhood friend type of vibe. So maybe it's someone from your childhood or something like that. With the 5 Wands, you have the Fool. Time for a new beginning. It's definitely time for a change, you know. Sometimes I feel the Fool is more about ripping the Band-Aid off, especially with the 5 Wands. 5 Wands can represent going on some sort of crazy adventure to find treasure. I always say it's my card I call Indiana Jones, because it's like a card that says that if we go through something, we're going to get rewards, just like I said. And the Fool sometimes says it's time for a new beginning. He has learned everything he can from a situation, and now he's completed his journey. He's starting again. The Fool is in a constant state of, you know, starting a journey. He works his way to the World card, and then he starts all over again as the Fool. He's always learning something new, and that's kind of where I feel like you're at. With the 10 of Swords, you have the Star. Love it. So wish fulfillment, happiness, good things coming in for you, hope, renewal. Really good card to get with the 10 of Swords, because, you know, it's kind of like, usually in the major arcana, it goes Tower, Star. It's like after Tower moment, we go through a healing. I definitely feel like you're healing. And by the way, it can be a card of kind of like valuing yourself, like I said. With the 2 of Swords, you have the Page of Wands. I feel like it's time for something new. If you're stuck, the Page of Wands can be a card of adventure. It's also a card of like excitement, and I feel like you need to move towards something like that's more exciting to you in life, is what I would say. So that's what I would do with the Page of Wands. With the Lovers, you have the 7 of Wands. Obviously, you're gonna have to open up. 7 of Wands can be too closed off energy, so it's like saying if you're closed off to the, you know, anything new that could be coming in for you, obviously, you know, that a person isn't going to be able to break through this. So if you want love, I feel it's time to kind of like open up with the 7 Wands. The other thing is more importantly than that, 7 Wands to me is a card of conviction. It's a card of knowing that you know that something is for you. I feel it'd be a really good time, and I've said this to other signs this year as well, because I really feel this year in particular, mostly because of Neptune and Pisces, and also Uranus and Taurus, right? I feel like because of those two things, it's really, really important that we get very, very clear on our values, like what we value in a person if you want love, or what you value in a job, or what you value in yourself, right? And then we need to commit to those values and live with those values. And if we do that, we'll attract all the things we want. With the 5 of Pentacles, you have the Sun. A lot of reasons to be happy. You know, in a lot of ways, I feel you're climbing out of darkness, like I said at the beginning of the reading, or when I started clarifying. I feel this reading is just saying you're kind of crawling your way out of a dark period of time, and you're moving towards the sun, which is good. Definitely improvements coming in for you. By the way, I love the sun and the star together. The sun and the star together is like fame and fortune. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to become famous, but again, we are always trying to get attention. I don't care what anyone says. It's like we're always doing something to get attention. You can get more attention at work to get a raise or a promotion, right? So I would say if you're looking for any type of improvement, the sun and the star says amazing time for you to get more attention. So do extra work, like if you want a raise, put in more time or effort, or ask your boss, say, what can I do to get a raise, right? You'll probably get a raise with this energy. So that's what I feel like you need to do with the sun and the star, is get as much attention as you possibly can. If you're starting a YouTube channel, if you're looking for love, get as much attention as you possibly can. We are, of course, talking about positive attention. There's negative ways to get attention, and there's positive ways. So I would do it in a positive way, but really good energy for that. And with the 7 of Swords, you have the Knight of Swords. I would be careful of anyone trying to come back from the past, especially if they were a liar, cheater, stealer, because I feel like they're just going to kind of mess up your day with that Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is like a rushing energy, and so I wouldn't try to rush anything. This is I would call this like a rite of passage reading, where it's like you're earning, I wouldn't even say you're earning rewards, because is it really a reward to, do this? Well, I'd say I'm a crazy person, so I would say yes. But, for most people, I'd say you've been through a difficult period of time, and it's like you're kind of coming out of it. I would just get very clear on your values at the end of this year as well, because, or this half of the year, because I feel like you will get them once you commit to them, whatever your values are. So I kind of like it. I do feel like there could be a water sign coming in for you as well. It could be any sign. You have pretty much everything here. It could also be Aquarius, or it could be someone who has Aquarius on their chart. But I definitely see love as well. So thank you for being here, Cancer. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.